right, listen up, Morty. And yeah, I'm talking to all of you Mortys sitting there with a 647 credit score wondering why the universe hates you. It doesn't hate you. It's just burp. It's just that nobody ever taught you the one thing that controls nearly a third of your entire credit score. I'm talking about credit utilization. And before you click away thinking you already know this, I promise you, you don't. The version you heard is wrong. The version your bank told you is wrong. Even the version that one guy at the car dealership told you while he was destroying your score with 6 hard inquiries, that was wrong. So sit down, we're doing this right. Okay, so first, what is credit utilization? It's embarrassingly simple, which is honestly the most offensive part of this whole system. Utilization is the ratio of your credit card balances to your credit card limits. That's it. You've got a $1,000 limit card. You're carrying $300 on it. Your utilization is 30%. Congratulations, you've done third grade math. The credit bureaus are so impressed. Burp. Now here's where everybody gets it wrong, and I mean everybody. People hear 30% is the rule and they think 30% is good. It is not good, Morty. 30% is the CEILING before things start getting genuinely bad. It's like saying the speed limit is 65 and thinking 64 is the optimal speed. No, sometimes you want to be going 20, sometimes you want to be parked. The FICO scoring model, which is the score used in roughly 90% of lending decisions, by the way. Not that Vantage score nonsense. Your Credit Karma shows you FICO rewards you more the lower your utilization goes. We're talking sweet spots. And I'm going to give you the actual numbers because unlike every other credit channel on this platform, I believe you can handle real information. Here's the utilization breakdown that FICO's own research has pointed toward. Above 30%, you're getting penalized. Full stop. Between 10% and 30%, you're in okay territory. Score is mediocre. Between 1% and 10%, this is the golden zone, Morty. This is where the points live. This is the promised land. 0%, actually slightly worse than 1 to 9% because it looks like you're not using credit at all and the algorithm gets suspicious. So the actual target is to show a small balance, somewhere between 1% and 9% of your total available credit every single month. Write that down. Tattoo it somewhere, I don't care. Now let's talk about why people who think they're doing this right are still getting wrecked. And this one kills me because it's so preventable. The confusion between your statement date and your due date. Most people pay their credit card by the due date. That is burp. That is correct for avoiding late fees and interest. Good job, Gold Star, but here's the problem. Your credit card company reports your balance to the bureaus on your statement date, which is typically 21 to 25 days before your due date. So you could pay your card in full every single month, be a perfect little responsible human being, and your credit report is still showing the balance from your statement, which could be high, which means your utilization looks high, which means your score is getting quietly kneecapped every single month while you think you're doing everything right. The audacity of this system, Morty. I've seen civilizations with more ethical financial structures, and one of them was literally a hive mind of sentient mushrooms. So the fix is simple. Once you know it, you pay your balance down ideally to that 1 to 9% range before your statement date. Not the due date, the statement date. Go into your credit card app right now. Find where it says statement closing date or statement date. That's your target. Pay before that date. Let the low balance get reported. Then your due date comes around and you pay whatever small remaining amount there is. This single calendar shift has moved scores 20 to 40 points for real people in a single billing cycle. A single one. 30 days. Because the scoring model recalculates every time new information is reported and utilization has NO memory, meaning it doesn't care what you were doing 6 months ago, only what you're showing right now. Now let's layer in something called the AZEO method, because this is where we go from good to genuinely elite credit strategy. AZEO stands for all zero except one. This is a technique where you bring all of your credit cards to zero balance or as close as possible except for one card, which you leave reporting that 1 to 9% balance. Why? Because FICO scoring has TWO utilization calculations happening simultaneously. One is your overall utilization across all cards combined. The other is your PER card utilization on each individual account. You can have great overall utilization but still get dinged if one specific card is reporting 60% or 70%. The AZEO method optimizes both calculations at the same time. It's like solving two equations with one move, which I could do in my sleep, and now so can you. Let me give you a real-world example with real numbers, because I know some of you need to see this to believe it. Let's say you've got 3 credit cards. Card A has a $500 limit with a $400 balance that's 80% utilization, criminally bad. Card B has a $1,500 limit with a $600 balance that's 40% utilization, also bad. Card C has a $1,000 limit with a $50 balance that's 5%, actually good. Your total available credit is $3,000. Your total balance is $1,050. Your overall utilization is 35%. Your score is probably sitting somewhere in that 620 to 660 purgatory, and you cannot figure out why. Here's your AZEO play. You aggressively pay down Card A and Card B to zero. You leave Card C reporting that $50. Now, your overall utilization is 1.6%. Your per-card utilization is perfect on all three. Depending on your other factors, you could realistically see a 40 to 80 point increase when those statements close and report in one cycle. But wait, and I know you were about to ask this, Morty, because you always ask the right question at exactly the wrong time. What if you don't have the money to pay those cards down right now? What if you're rebuilding from actual zero and you don't have high-limit cards to optimize? Valid. Extremely valid. I'm not going to just tell you to pay down your debt like some fortune cookie with a credit score. Let's talk about the actual tools available to people starting from scratch or rebuilding from a disaster. First tool, the secured credit card. I know. It sounds like the participation trophy of credit products. You give the bank your money as a deposit, they give you a credit card with a limit equal to your deposit, and then they charge you fees for the privilege. The audacity burp, the audacity is genuinely breathtaking. But, done correctly, a secured card is a legitimate score-building machine. Here's how you use it correctly. You pick one card from a reputable issuer, Discover It, Secured, Capital One Secured, or a credit union secured card are your best options because they graduate to unsecured. Oh, meaning they'll eventually give your deposit back and convert the account. You put the minimum deposit down, usually $200, $500, and then you use it for one small recurring purchase, a Netflix subscription, a tank of gas, a utility payment, something that happens every month automatically. You pay it off before the statement date, so it reports a 1 to 5% utilization. And you do this on autopilot for 6 to 12 months. That's it. That's the whole strategy. No drama, no tricks, just consistent, clean reporting. In 12 months of this behavior, someone starting from zero should realistically be sitting at 680 to 720 from this account alone, assuming no negative items dragging them down. Now, the thing nobody tells you about secured cards, and this drives me absolutely burp crazy, is the credit limit manipulation game. Your initial deposit sets your limit, fine. But most people don't know they can increase that limit by adding more deposit money, sometimes as low as $20 at a time. Why would you do this? Remember our utilization math. If you're spending $50 a month on a $200 limit card, that's 25% utilization, not great. If you increase that limit to $500, same $50 spend is now 10%, same exact behavior, better score. You haven't changed your spending. You've just changed the denominator in the fraction. The math is the same math I used to solve interdimensional wormhole calculations, except somehow this one matters more for your mortgage rate. Second tool for rebuilders, authorized user trade lines. This one is legal, this one is ethical, and this one is wildly underutilized. If you have a family member or close friend with a credit card that has a long history, high limit, low utilization, and no late payments, you can ask them to add you as an authorized user on that account. You don't even need to have the physical card. You don't need to use the account. Once they add you, that account's history appears on your credit report. I've seen this single move add 50 points to a score in 30 days because suddenly your credit report has a 7-year-old account with perfect payment history and 8% utilization that it didn't have before. The account history, the age, the utilization, all of it gets factored into your profile. The card owner takes on zero financial risk because you can't make charges without the physical card in most setups, and they can remove you at any time. This is the closest thing to a credit cheat code that exists within the rules of the game. Now let's talk timeline, because I want you to have realistic expectations, not the 800 credit score in 30 days nonsense being sold by every third Instagram account. Here's an honest rebuilding roadmap for someone starting at a 580 or coming back from collections. Month 1 through 3, you open a secured card, you apply the statement date strategy immediately. You get added as an authorized user if possible. You start seeing initial movement, probably 20 to 40 points if you had thin credit to begin with. Month 4 through 6, your secured card has now established a payment pattern. FICO starts rewarding consistency. If you've also had any collections or negative items age past the 2-year mark, their impact is diminishing. You're probably in the 620 to 650 range now. Month 7 through 12. This is where the compounding starts to feel real. Your average account age is growing. Your clean payment history is piling up. If you've managed to pay down any high balance cards, the utilization gains hit. Realistically, someone who was at 580 and executes this correctly for 12 months should be at 680 to 720, not 800. 720, which qualifies you for real financial products at reasonable rates. One final thing I need to address, because this is the mistake that destroys rebuilding progress more than anything else, and that's the hard inquiry trap. Every time you apply for credit, the lender pulls a hard inquiry. Each one typically costs you 5 to 10 points and stays on your report for 2 years, affecting your score for about 12 months. People rebuilding credit, desperate for options, apply for 6 cards in a month and wonder why their score dropped 50 points. You walked into the bear trap, Morty. The bears built that trap. Apply strategically. 1 account at a time. Wait at least 3 to 6 months between applications. Use pre-qualification tools. Capital One, Discover, and American Express all have soft inquiry pre-qual checks that will tell you your approval odds without hitting your credit. Use those tools. Be surgical, not desperate. Look, burp, look, the credit system is a ridiculous human construct held together by outdated algorithms and corporate interests that definitely don't have your well-being as the primary concern. But it is the system we live inside of, and knowing how it actually works is the difference between paying 22% interest on a car loan and paying 5%. That's tens of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. Real money. Money that could be doing literally anything else. So yeah, I find the whole thing absurd and kind of offensive, and I want you to beat it. Both things are true. This is Credit Rick. Subscribe, because next week we're talking about dispute letters, and I am going to teach you exactly how to make the credit bureaus do their jobs, whether they want to or not. Peace. I'm out. Wubba Lubba Credit Score.